All right, so you're in Science 10 AP, okay? Science 10 is going to be pretty much the same thing. If you take Science 10 with me, it's pretty much the same. There's a couple of extra lessons in chemistry, and that's really about it. We do talk about a few more things in Science 10 AP than we do in regular Science 10, okay? But for the most part, you're taking pretty much the same course that a regular Science 10 kid would take. Okay, there's not a lot of difference at the grade 10 level for you guys. All right, now just going over kind of the things that are going to happen in this class. Okay, first thing is attendance. Okay, first day I let the lates go because you're trying to find your way, but now you know where to go. Okay, so now you're on time. That means you are in here in your desk, okay, with your stuff ready to go when the bell rings, not rushing in the door 2 seconds after. That is physically impossible because the door will be shut. Okay, I close it immediately upon the ringing of the bell. If the door is shut, that is a social indicator to remain on the other side of it. Okay, in case you are unaware of that. All right, do not come in that door if the bell has gone or if the door is shut. I do not want an interruption to everyone else's learning. I will come and get you when it will be less of a disruption. Okay? Does that mean you should just kind of sit out there and text your buddies, oh, I'm late, Coderre's a meanie, he's leaving me outside? No, it means you should be watching through the window what's going on so that when I do let you in, you know exactly where you are. Everybody got me there? Okay, we take lates very seriously here. Okay, you will find yourself in late monitoring if you are late habitually, and it will happen quick. Okay, and then you'll be dealing with one of our administrators who also don't like lates very much. Okay, and unless you want to be in, detention until you are a little old man or woman, you probably want to show up on time. Okay. Okay. In terms of attendance, in terms of being here, you have to be. Okay. If you are not here, you are missing valuable material. Sure. Okay. A lot of people say, well, Codere, you record it, you put it on YouTube, I can just catch it later. You can, but it isn't the same. Okay. It's not the same as being here. You can't ask YouTube a question. All right, if you don't get something, you missed it. All right, there's no going back after that. Okay, attendance is so crucial, guys. High school moves really, really fast. Okay, you miss 2 days in a row, it's going to take you 3 or 4 to get caught up. Okay, realistically, that's the way it goes. Give you some idea of pacing. If I taught Science 9, which I've taught before, at the pace I have to teach Science 10 at to finish, I'd be done Science 9 about the middle of November. Okay, there's almost twice as much material in Science 10, so it goes very, very, very fast. All right, if you miss time, you're going to fall behind quickly. All right, so if you know you're going to be gone ahead of time, okay, well, you'd best maybe look at some of the old podcasts of the things that you are going to miss before you go. Okay, the thing I expect though, if you're gone, when you come back, you're caught up. Okay, if you miss days, okay, if you're decide to go on holidays when the rest of us are at school, be aware. I am responsible to teach here on the days when school is in session. I am not responsible to catch you up. Okay? That isn't my job. So if you're taking off for 2 weeks, you're on your own for 2 weeks. Okay? You can come back if you've watched all the podcasts and say, Mr. Codere, I have questions on this, this, and this. No problem. Okay? I'll help you out. You come see me in Scheduled Helper at lunch. No problem, I'll answer your questions. Okay? But if you come to me and go, Codere, I was gone to Mexico for 2 weeks. What did I miss? I will flip out on you. Okay? I will absolutely flip out on you. All right? I will say a lot. And now you have a lot of catching up to do on your own. That's a lot of YouTube videos to watch in like 3 days. All right? So make sure you're here. It's really important that you're here. Obviously, if you get really sick and you're in the hospital for a week, well, they have the internet at the hospital. As long as you're conscious, you could probably still watch a podcast. Okay, if you're in a coma, well, you probably have bigger things to worry about. Okay, but okay, you kind of get where I'm going here. It's really important that you are here. All right. Now that said, if you wake up and you're deathly ill, stay home. Don't get me sick. Don't get the rest of your classmates sick. Watch the podcast on YouTube and come and ask me a question the next day. I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm just saying, don't miss a lot of time all at once. Okay. All right, so there's lots of tools for you guys here, podcasts and Twitter, which we'll talk about, my website as well, okay, that can keep you all up to date. Okay, if you lose something, it's never a worry. You can always get another copy of it from the website or whatever. Okay, so we already talked about lates. Okay, so website and podcasts. Okay, these are going to be kind of your big tools that you will use. Okay, first thing, okay, that we'll talk about, okay, is my website. It's one of those SharePoint ones. I know SharePoint's not great. It's not super easy to use, but it's got everything on it until we get something better. Okay. So what you guys will find when you come on there is, okay, the Twitter feeds. Okay, the Coder Science 10 one is actually below. For some reason, the Physics 21 didn't load up here, but okay, Science 10 is usually below it, and that'll have all the tweets that I've posted. In a tweet, all I put is, here's what we did today, a link to the podcast. If we did a lab, I put a link to the data, okay, and the lab sheet and whatever else. So if you were gone and we did a lab, you can catch up on it. All right, you watch the podcast for what we did, you get the lab sheet off the website, you get the data off the website, you're done. Okay, you can do the lab report that way. Granted, it's not as much fun as if you were here mixing chemicals and blowing stuff up, but okay, you can still at least get the learning out of it. All right, so you'll see that there. Okay, due dates are going to be up here on the top right-hand side. Okay, so if there's something due, it will be up there. It'll also be on the board, the old-fashioned way. Okay, up here at the front. Okay, and I'll also tweet things when they're due. Okay, we're also going to be using Google Classroom, which just came out 2 weeks ago. We're going to do a little thing on Friday with that, which basically will almost entirely replace all of this. All right, but we'll still have this here anyway. Okay. My email address is on here, okay, if you need to get a hold of me for some reason, okay, that's probably the best way. Be advised if you're emailing, you know, if it's after like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, I'm probably not checking anymore, okay? I'm probably not going to email you back. If you email me at midnight and my phone vibrates on my nightstand while I'm asleep, I will find you the next day, okay? All right, okay. Just have a little courtesy, right? Okay, a little courtesy and respect for everybody else. Okay, you'll see also that there's links here to the YouTube channel. Okay, for Science 10, it's down here at the bottom, and it just kind of scrolls through all these different lessons that are on there. Okay, so basically, if you can't find something, it's on here. All right, if you need to find resources, lab sheets, assignment sheets, worksheets, anything that you might have lost that I gave to you as a paper form, which I'm not going to give much out, but okay, if you did lose something, you can find it in either AP Science 10 Notes and Assignments, okay, and it's organized by unit, chem, bio, physics, etc. Okay, go in there, and it's all in there. Okay, some stuff will also be in the Science 10 Notes and Assignments. Like I say, they're pretty much the same. I would use mostly the Science 10 stuff, okay, because I have to update all the stuff that's in AP here. So just go with Science 10 for now. All right, all that stuff is in there. Data and observations for labs. So if you miss something, that's where you go for the data. Okay, they're all in there in PDF form, so you can grab them. Okay, everybody with me there? Making it pretty easy for you so far? Okay. All right, and then that's pretty much all you'll get off of there. It's quite a bit, but gives you quite some opportunities. Okay, the YouTube channel, okay, is entitled Coder Science 10. If you've got your phone, okay, you can take that out. I don't mind. Okay, phones are a tool. I don't think they're evil like some people do. Okay, if you have one, you can take it out. Okay, and go to that. I would, if I were you, just subscribe to it. Okay, easiest way. Then you'll know every time a new one comes up. Okay, it's easy to find. You don't have to type it in every time or whatever. All right. So each and every day, okay, or just about each and every day, a podcast will go up onto my YouTube page, okay, and you can watch it if you need to review something or if you were absent, or, you know, I tell you there's a quiz tomorrow on today's stuff. Maybe you want to, you know, watch a couple of pieces of it here or there. Okay. Very rarely does anybody watch the whole thing. Okay, I understand that. I wouldn't either, probably. Okay, they're there for you to find what you need. So yeah, if it's not right at the beginning, it's near the end. Yeah, just scrub through and get what's at the end. All right, I can tell how many people watch the whole thing. It isn't very many, because it tells me the average length of a view is about 2.5 minutes. Okay, I know that most of those recordings are like a half an hour long. That tells me people don't watch the whole thing. All right. Also, the new podcasts, the current podcasts, okay, are in a folder, okay, or in a playlist down below, organized by unit. Okay, so as I put new ones up, they'll go in the current podcasts playlists. Okay, and then down below are kind of older ones. So archived lessons is like, well, I think they're from like the last 2 years. All right, there's podcasts of every lesson from the last 2 years. So if you were knowing you were going to be away for a week and you wanted to see what was coming up, you could go into there and look for the lessons that come ahead of where we are, if you were, you know, that much into doing that. All right, everybody follow there? All right. For the most part, you probably won't use the archived lessons. You'll just use the current ones. Okay, and if you're using the current podcasts, you won't be bothered with ads. okay, because there aren't any ads on any of the current podcasts. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's something that you'll probably use, okay, quite a bit, especially for labs. Okay, if you're doing a lab report, it's really, really smart to have the podcast playing while you're doing the lab report, because you can hear all those hints that I gave in class that you probably forgot or didn't write down, okay, again, while you're doing the lab, all right? And last year, guys, I tell you, the people that did that consistently were 95 or better on their lab reports, because they basically couldn't make a mistake. Okay, if the people who didn't were missing sections and stuff like that, and I would hand it back to them and go, did you not watch the podcast while you were doing your lab report? No. Yeah, that's why you forgot those 3 things I said in class were very important. Okay, if you're watching the podcast while you're putting it together, you won't forget those 3 things that are very important. All right, everybody follow me there? All right, so yeah, good idea to use those, or preparing for exams. You can see here that it's showing Unit 2 lesson or whatever, or exam review. Those are the ones I kind of left in there. All right, we do that before every exam, gives you a chance to, listen to it a couple of times and remember what's really important to go over. Okay, and then the Twitter page. Okay, basically just I'm not going to blow up your phone with tweets. Okay, I'm not the Beebs or whatever. Okay, all I'm doing is I'm going to tell you what happened that day. In a day, you might get 3 tweets. In a really busy day, you might get 3 tweets. If we did a lab, one tweet would be, we did a lab today. And the next one would be, here's the link to the podcast, here's the link to the data. That would be the most you would ever get in a day. Most days, you'll get 1. Okay, but I would recommend right now that you, once again, take out your phone. Okay, if you have the Twitter app, follow it. Okay, if you don't, you're crazy, honestly. Here's why. Every Tuesday and every Thursday in this class, you're going to have a quiz. They're not very long, okay? They're, maybe going to take us 5 minutes, but I put them on Twitter the night before. Always. Okay? I always give out the quizzes the night before the quiz so that you can do it at home. All right? Our quizzes, freebie marks in this class then. They are absolutely. This is not a trick, by the way. I'm not trying to trick you. Okay? I am going to do this. So you'd best follow this. Okay? Follow me on Twitter so that you will get those. All right? If you don't have Twitter or your phone doesn't do Twitter, you can still go to the website and still get them off of there, because the Twitter feed is on the website. And you can just click on it. It'll take you to the quiz. Okay? Everyone with me there? So if you don't have Twitter, don't worry. You still have a way to get those quizzes. But it is advisable for you to follow that, because once in a while, I forget to tell you something in class, okay, and I tweet out a little reminder, like, oh, I forgot to remind you that tomorrow your lab report is due. I send out that little tweet, okay? That gets you that reminder so you don't forget. All right, so that's all that's going to be for, okay? Like I said, I'm not going to blow up your phone with 20 tweets a day, okay? All right, so back to this. Okay. So that takes care of websites, okay, YouTube, Twitter, okay, all of that. The big thing to remember here, guys, if you're using all those resources, so we're looking at 2.4 here, okay, if you're using all those resources, you should always return to class caught up, okay, with your classmates, okay, because of that extra effort that I'm making to give you that material, okay, and it takes time to put all that stuff up, okay, I never want to be asked, Coderre, what did I miss? Okay, if you ask me, Coderre, what did I miss? It's because you don't care enough to have looked it up yourself. All right, everybody with me there? I'm doing lots of things for you. I will do lots of things for you. Okay, I'm here every day at lunch for help. Okay, obviously scheduled help that we have. Okay, always. But the one thing I don't want to be asked is, what did I miss? Okay. All right. Section 3, classroom behavioral norms. So, how to act like a human being in Coderre's classroom. Okay, big thing is respect. Okay, I will treat each and every one of you with respect. I expect the same in return from you. Okay, that is evidenced by certain behaviors. Okay, those behaviors would be, if I'm talking, I have your full and undivided attention. All right, I'm hoping that you guys are responsible enough, okay, not to be texting your friends or Facebooking during class and things like that. Okay, because your phone is a tool to me. I want you to have it, okay? But I want you to use it responsibly in my class. If I find you're not, okay, then I will have to take it from you, okay? I think last year I ended up in the whole year taking like 3 phones away, Okay, wasn't much. Okay, I'm not one of those phone Nazis who, is always looking to take your phone away at every opportunity. Okay, you're going to be using your phone quite a bit in my class for class stuff. Okay, but I do expect that that's what you're using it for. Okay, other things would be that you are on time for class. Okay, that's showing respect. Okay, you're getting your work done. Okay, things like that. You're not making me hound you, for stuff, that kind of thing. That's showing respect. For me, showing you respect, okay, that's going to look like me doing all this extra stuff for you, okay, making those things available, being available for help, okay, when you need it, okay, answering questions, even sometimes by email in the evening if that, happens sometimes. I might be able to do that for you, okay, things like that. I'm not going to single you out in class, okay, in front of everybody. I'm not one of those teachers who believes that humiliation is a form of classroom management, okay. I'm not going to do that to you either. All right, okay. Okay, there should also be respect for your classmates. Okay, that means basically, no teasing, no bullying, kicking, scratching, biting, okay, whatever else might go on. All right. When you hear "listen up," okay, that's your cue that I need your attention, your full and undivided attention right away. Okay, if I have trouble getting your attention saying that, okay, and it's a habitual thing, like you just never pay attention, then I'll ask you to step outside where I can have your full and undivided attention later. Okay, but when I say listen up, it usually means we need to either get going on class or I have some other important thing to tell you, like listen up, there's a mistake on the sheet I gave you, listen up, we need to move across to the lab, listen up, the room is on fire, we have to get out of here. Okay, either way, listen up means let's go. All right. Okay, 3.3 has to do with the work that is assigned in class. Okay, sometimes I assign you work in class that I have no intention of taking in. All right, that's what we call the coached practice material. All right, that's the stuff that you have an opportunity to work on in class, to perfect skills, learn skills, and ask questions while you're working on it. All right, so when you get a handout from me that says worksheet on it, that won't be coming in for marks. I don't take worksheets in. All right, they're designed to help you learn the material in an environment where you have access to me, okay, and access to your classmates and that kind of assistance. Okay, sometimes I will assign things that will come in for marks. Anything that says assignment on the sheet is going to come in for marks. Labs always come in for marks. Okay, and once in a while we have little projects and things like that. Okay, that we also do. I'll let you know if it's coming in for marks. Okay, when I assign stuff, I expect it to get done, whether it's coming in for marks or not. Okay, I always look kind of at the end of the year, at people's binders and stuff like that, and consistently, the people who are in the 90s, everything is done. The people who are consistently in the 60s or lower, they got like a quarter of this worksheet done, half of that worksheet done, that one they didn't even touch, okay, stuff like that. They didn't do the work they needed to get good at stuff. All right, if you spend the time, you invest the time, it's going to pay off. Okay, so all of it should be done, especially, obviously, the stuff that's coming in for marks, okay, because you now are responsible for your own academic success. If I find that you're not handing stuff in, okay, first thing I'll do, out of respect for you, being, 15, 16 years old, is I will come to you and say, hey, look, you got to get this stuff done. Okay, it's important that you do it. It's a learning activity. I need to get it in for your marks. I give you the opportunity first. If I don't get it from you after that, then I call home and I say to mom and dad, little Johnny or little Janie isn't getting their work done in my class. Okay, this is a problem because obviously their mark isn't very good. They're not learning the material because they're not doing the work, and I'm very concerned and I want to help them. Okay, I have only ever had one parent in 15 years of teaching say to me on that phone call, yeah, I don't care. And it broke my heart. I could not believe that a parent would say that to me, but they did. Okay, but I've made that phone call, probably 500 or 600 times. Okay, and only once has someone told me I don't care. Usually the answer is, really, you want to help them? That's great. What can I do? That's usually not what you want to hear as the student, though. Okay, that usually means you're going to be looking at 4 gray walls, okay, for the foreseeable future until your work is done. So let's just avoid that. Get your stuff in on time. Okay. All right. So usually what I do then, guys, is I bring you in at lunch, okay, until I have your work done, okay, things like that. Okay. Also with exams, you may want to write this down. There are no rewrites in my class. Okay. We go over things lots of times. You've got access to all the lessons as many times as you want to watch them. Okay, you've got access to me 5 days a week, okay, to ask questions, and I always give you 2 weeks notice before any major exams. So there should be no reason to need a rewrite except that you didn't study. And that's not an acceptable reason to need a rewrite. All right, if you do all your work, okay, you ask questions, you do your preparation, you won't need a rewrite. Okay, now, if by some act of God you get less than 50% on an exam, what I usually do is I bring you in, we go over your test, I have you do a couple of things, and then, okay, like maybe a makeup assignment or something like that, okay? But again, that's only if, okay, on kind of my discretion, all right? So there's no rewrites, just understand that those will not happen. Okay. Now, fairness versus equality, okay? I always try to be fair to everybody, okay? But being fair doesn't mean treating everyone equally. All right? I know sometimes people get that confused, and it's not the case. All right? I'll give you an example because this happened a few years ago. Okay? I had an assignment due, and most of the people handed it in, and 2 people came to my desk and said, "Mr. Coderre, I don't have it done." Okay? And the first one, I said, okay, well, why not? And this person looked awful. Okay, like they came up to my desk with like bags under their eyes, their hair was all frizzy, they looked like they hadn't slept. And I said, "What's going on? Why isn't your assignment done?" She said, "Well, my parents had this huge fight last night, and they both stormed out of the house, and I had to make dinner for my 2 brothers, and I didn't cook the chicken enough, and we all got sick, and we spent the whole night throwing up, and I didn't get my work done." Okay? I felt kind of bad for them, but I still said, if you hadn't left it till the night before, that wouldn't have happened. Because I have to be a bit of a jerk. Okay? It's true. If you hadn't left it till the night before, that wouldn't have happened. Just so you know, leaving stuff for the night before is an invitation for disaster. Okay? If you get it done ahead of time, there's 2 good things that can happen for you. First off, if you get something done ahead of time and bring it to me, I'll look it over. Okay? I'll look it over before it's handed in for marks and say, you might want to tweak that a little bit. This question wasn't really asking that. It was kind of asking this instead. Okay, you can tweak your answers. Maybe you missed something, and I can point that out to you, whatever. Okay, that's a huge opportunity for you. Take advantage of that one. Bring it in ahead of time. I'll look it over and give you tips. So if you have it done ahead of time, you can do that. Okay, and the second thing is that my printer ran out of ink. Well, that's never going to work anyway because we hand in everything electronically. Okay, the power went out at my house, whatever. All those things that, seem to be excuses only ever happen to people who wait till the night before. All right, so don't wait till the night before. Anyway, back to the story. I said to her, obviously that's, very extenuating circumstances. I'm sorry your parents had a big fight. Is there anything I can do to help you? And let's get that assignment in. Get a good night's sleep tonight. Get the assignment done and get it to me when you can. Okay. The other person who had seen all this go down, thankfully they had some integrity. And when I asked them, "Why isn't yours done?" they said, "Well, season finale, I can't remember what show, Survivor, was on last night, and I didn't want to miss it, so I didn't do my work." I mean, to their credit, at least they were honest with me. Okay, but in the end, I said, "Well, that wasn't very responsible. You're going to take the late penalty and get it to me as soon as you can, but it's 25% off." All right. So I didn't treat them equally, but I was pretty fair, I would think, in that situation. Okay, one person sort of deserved one, and the other person really didn't. Okay. All right. If you ever feel, guys, that I've been unfair, okay, then come and see me after class. Don't point it out in front of everybody because then I'll just overrule you. Okay? Just come and say, "Mr. Coderre, I think that wasn't fair." Okay, fine. We'll talk it out. Okay. Accountability. High school is the start of real life. Thus, due dates, timelines, etc. are part of your reality. That means you are expected and required to hand in material on time and be responsible for your actions. I give plenty of time for assignments to be completed, so there are very few excuses that I will accept for not handing in material on time. Okay, in real life, you're expected to get your work done on time. So, if I assign a lab report that's due or an assignment that's due, okay, lab reports, the bare minimum turnaround for a lab report would be 2 school days. Now, that doesn't mean you're getting 2 class periods to work on it, okay? But if we did a lab, let's say on Wednesday, the earliest, okay, that it would be due would probably be Monday. All right, because that's 2 school days, right? Thursday and Friday. All right, so I usually give you a pretty good time frame for getting stuff done. All right, so please, again, don't wait till the night before. Okay, for major research projects, things like that, it's usually like 2 weeks. I'm not an English guy, but apparently there's this like revision process that you're supposed to go through for English, so and that takes time apparently. So I give you 2 weeks to write it and then review it and whatever. Okay. For exams, I give you, I'd let you know about those about 2 weeks in advance as well, so you can start preparing. All right. So you're always going to get, okay, lots of time to do things. The only time something would be expected to be handed in the next day was if it was just an in-class thing that we did that day in class, okay, and essentially everyone was done, okay. But almost never will something be due the next day. All right. Okay. Now, in terms of getting stuff done on time, okay, we'll talk about it here, but there is a late penalty if you don't get stuff done, because guys, in the last 10 years, I have handed back every assignment that was handed in to me the next day, except for one time. Okay? In 10 years, I have not failed to hand back an assignment that was handed in the next day. I've only failed once. Okay? And that's because my son was born that day. Okay? In fact, that night. So, I think people would understand that I didn't get their stuff marked. It was kind of a big day. All right? So, I'm going to hand stuff back to you the next day. When you hand it in, you will get it back the next day. That's why I have a big problem with assignments coming in late. Because if I hand it back to you the next day, and you do it, like hand it to me 2 days later, well, I don't know if you really did it, or if you just copied somebody else's, or if you sat here and just wrote everything I said down the day I handed it back. All right, so late assignments are accepted, but they're 25% off. Okay, so just be aware. It's 25% off for anything that's late. Okay, that's not 25% per day. I don't have time to keep track of how many days late your assignments are. All right, it's just 25% blanket. Okay. All right, so assessment and evaluation here. Okay, I do not discuss marks in class. So if you get something back, and when you get it back, you're actually going to get it back electronically because we submit everything electronically in this class. We'll show you how to do all that on Friday. Okay. If you don't like your mark, the worst thing you can do is in front of everyone else say, Mr. Coderre, this isn't fair. You didn't mark mine fair. And my response in front of everyone else is going to be, too bad. That's your mark. Deal with it. Okay? However, if after class you came up to my desk and Mr. Coderre, really didn't understand, I don't understand why I got this mark, I thought I did really good, okay, I'd be more than happy to sit down and go through it with you. Okay? Most of the time, since when I hand something back, I go through the whole thing anyway, you'll understand why you got the mark you did. Okay? Very rarely does anyone come up and say, Mr. Coderre, I don't think this was the right mark. Most of the time after we've gone through it, they know why. All right? But if that's the case, come up and ask. When we both don't have to save face in front of everyone else. Okay? Because if it's a matter of saving face, I get to and you don't. All right? Okay. Your marks will be distributed according to the course syllabus, which I'll show you in a minute here. And again, we talked about this. Assignments and labs are to be handed in on time. Okay? What that's going to mean is by the start of class on the due date. Okay? That is when things are due. Since you're going to be submitting it electronically, I'll know exactly when it came in because they come in with a date and time stamp. All right? So make sure you get them in on time by the start of class on the due date. Okay? I'm not one of those people that goes, oh yeah, by the end of the day. No. Okay? Start of class on the due date. That's when it's due. Everybody got me? When are things due? Start of class on the due date. Okay. All right. We don't have too much problem with the stuff getting slipped under my door anymore because you don't slip electronic stuff under my door or in my mailbox. This has eliminated the lost assignment curse. Okay, so basically now when I show you on Friday using Google Classroom, everything will come in electronically. It's actually going to be a lot easier for you guys because each of you will get essentially a template for every assignment. Basically, you fill it in. All right, so it's going to work out pretty well. All right. So, any questions on that stuff? Okay, a few other questions that usually come up. Can I have food and drink in your classroom? Certainly. Okay, it's first period of the day. Maybe you rushed out of the house and didn't get breakfast. If you got to eat in here, that's fine. Okay, if you make a mess, you clean it up. All right, that's the deal. All right, if you got to have your coffee in the morning, I understand that. Okay, you go ahead. All right, just if you come in every day with a Rockstar and a bowl of Fruit Loops, I'm probably going to give you a hard time about your nutritional choices. But okay, yeah, you can have food and drink in here. Just make sure you clean up if you make a mess. Okay, can you have your phone in here? Absolutely. We already talked about that. You're going to use your phone in my class. It's going to be a tool for you. Okay. Can I have a laptop, tablet, or any other thing like that? Yes, absolutely. In fact, you're probably going to find it handy. All right, so if you want to have your laptop, or you got a little Chromebook, or or laptop or whatever, by the kind of second week of last year, I probably had half the class that was doing that. Okay, don't feel that you have to. Don't go home and tell your parents, Mr. Quitter says I need a laptop, because I didn't say that. Okay, all right. But if you have one and you want to use it in my class, that's fine. Okay. All right. So course objectives, basically we're going over the 3 major sciences that you can take in high school. We start with chemistry. We move on to biology after that. Then we do physics, and then at the end there's kind of this little hodgepodge unit that kind of ties everything together. Okay, it's very short and very easy. Okay, but the big 3 are, okay, obviously big for a reason. They're the ones you can choose to take in grade 11. Okay, chem, bio, and physics. So it gives you an idea of which ones you like, which ones you're good at. Okay, things like that. All right. Now, our first one, like we said, start out with chemistry. The first couple of days are going to be kind of review. We talk about the atom, we talk about naming compounds, and then we move into reactions, and we move into the mole equation and things like that. Okay. The first unit tends to be the toughest for people for a couple reasons. You still got your summer brain, okay, going on. You forgot a bunch of stuff from last year, so it takes a little while to get the ball rolling again. Okay, there's a bit more of the kind of math-based stuff in chemistry. Okay, manipulating equations, algebra. Okay, sometimes that scares people, but you're going to do it. Okay, stuff like that. Usually around Thanksgiving, we're done chem. Okay, bio usually takes about 4 weeks. We're done that right around parent-teacher interview time usually. After that, we have physics. Physics takes, probably 5 or 6 weeks. Okay, we usually finish it just after Christmas. I try to get it done usually before Christmas. Okay, and then we have, a week and a half or so to finish the last unit, which I finished in 5 days last semester because we got so far behind. All right, but okay, we can do it. So those are the 4 units that you'll be taking. Okay, again, the big ones are the first 3. Okay, your marks distribution. Your unit exams, and there are 4 of them, okay, are worth 25% of your final mark. Okay? So you got 4 chances, okay, in there, right? And that's 25% of your final grade. They are equally distributed, by the way, okay? The last unit exam, the short one that's really easy, it's worth the same amount as the chem unit, okay? I don't scale them at all, so it's a good opportunity right before the final to kind of boost your mark a little bit. Okay, labs, assignments, and projects, okay, which we call class work, okay, is 40% of your mark. That 40% of your mark you can get help with, right? Because you can come in, you can ask questions and stuff like that. So take advantage of that. 40% of your mark is on stuff you can ask for help with. Okay, there's a reason for that. I believe that's the best kind of learning. Okay. All right, quizzes. Like we said, every Tuesday, every Thursday, there's going to be a quiz. Okay, it's not a cumulative thing. Okay, so don't think that as the unit goes on, the quizzes get longer and they're on everything we've taken. That's not the case. Okay, a quiz is never on more than like the last 3 days. All right, it's just review. All right, now if we're doing a quiz every Tuesday and every Thursday, and all added up, they're worth 10%. How much is each quiz worth? Practically nothing. Okay. They're worth practically nothing. I'm not gonna tell you that they're worth a ton of marks. They're not. Okay? They're a review tool. But here's the thing, guys. Okay? At parent-teacher interview time, I can almost always circle people's quiz mark and their class mark and have them be within 10%. Okay? I say 10% now because since I started tweeting them, people do a lot better on quizzes. Can't imagine why. Okay? Because they get them ahead of time. But okay, before I started tweeting them, they were within 5%. Okay, often within 2. All right, if people are reviewing often, they do well on quizzes, they do well in the class. Okay, it's not rocket science. All right, but they're important. They're a good review tool. Okay, they're a good opportunity to learn the material. Okay, your final exam, which will be in January sometime, is 25% of your final mark. All right, so half of your mark is on stuff you can get help with in class. Okay, half your mark is on tests. All right. Questions on that? All right. Now, this going green thing here has to do with how much stuff I photocopy. Okay, you're going to get the course syllabus that you got today. You're going to get that. I'll give you today's notes that will start today. Those will be the only notes I will photocopy for you. All right, there is a notes package on my website that you are going to need. Okay, so we'll show you where that is here. All right, so if you go into my website and you go into AP Science 10 Notes and Assignments, you will see right here, AP Science 10 Notes Package. All right, you need that. Either you need it electronically on your tablet or laptop or whatever you're going to bring to class with you, okay? Or you need to print it at home. Don't print it in color unless you have money to set on fire, okay? Because it's about 60-some pages, okay? You'll probably burn up the color cartridges in your printer if you print it in color. It doesn't need to be in color, right? You can see all of the lessons that are in there in color on my website, on your computer at home or your phone even, okay? So you don't need to print it in color. You just need to have, okay, that notes package, all right? Your other option is that it is in PDF form, and they have an app for everything, okay? But they have this app called Notability, and I think they also have it now for Android. You can actually open up those files and write right in the PDF file in this Notability app. Okay, it works really slick. Okay, I have a lot of people who do it, and it just works out really well for them. Okay, I think Notability, it costs I think $3 or something like that, but it's well worth the investment. That's not a sales pitch. Obviously, you don't have to get it. Okay, but it does work out pretty well for people. You can still print it hard copy if you're a pen and paper person. I actually said that without messing it up. Pen and paper person. It's a tongue twister. Okay. If you're that way, go right ahead. Okay. Print it out and bring it in and write on it. But you do need to have that notes package one way or the other. Okay. A lot of people last year they just took out their phone and had the notes out and they just kind of followed along as we went. That's fine too. Okay. You just need to have the notes package. All right. I'm just not going to print it. Okay. And so I hope that a lot of you will use it electronically. That was my intention, was to save paper. Okay, hopefully a lot of you will do that. So that's where you get it. Okay, AP Science 10 Notes and Assignments. Okay, when you open it up, it's a big file, but okay, it'll look something like that. Okay, you'll notice it's got the same icon as both the YouTube channel and the Twitter feed. Okay, everything that's Science 10 for Mr. Coderre has this funny looking thing that I made. Okay, yeah, and then you'll have all of the notes here, okay, complete with pictures. It's exactly the same stuff that'll be up on the smartboard when I teach, okay, but you're kind of copies of it. There's a few examples in there and things like that, okay, so make sure you have that kind of ready to go ASAP. All right, yeah, I think that covers it all, okay. Now, how many of you have used your Redeemer mail before? Okay, good. So most of you. All right. It's going to be really important that you have access to that. The Google Classroom thing that we're going to be using this year will be running out of your Google Mail account. Okay, your school one. If you have your own, it won't work. Okay, Google Classroom is set up so that it only works within kind of a firewall, for lack of a better term, area. Okay, so if you have your own personal Google Mail account, it won't work with, you won't be able to submit your assignments, so you'll have to use the Redeemer one. Okay, so that one is usually your first name and your last name at Isidore.Redeemer, that one. Okay, that's the one you're going to have to use. Okay, advisable, and we'll do this on Friday, but if you know how to do it, it's advisable that you put that on, you have that mail account on your phone. Okay, because like I said, the Classroom app will send you emails. It'll let you know when I've marked your assignments. Okay, so when you submit something to me electronically and I mark it, I return it, and you'll get an email that says, Mr. Coderre has marked your assignment, here's your mark. Okay, and that'll happen, you'll get that day. If I'm marking it that night, I mean, it might be, it might be 10 o'clock when I finish marking it, but okay, you'll get an email that says, Mr. Coderre has marked it, and here's your mark. Okay, I know that some of you are really like, I gotta know what my mark is, I can't wait till tomorrow. Well, this will be great for you then. Okay, so set that up on your phone and you'll get all of those kind of updates. All right? Okay, so yeah, you will hand in very little paper to me. The only paper you'll hand in to me will be your quizzes. Okay, when you hand paper in to me, it goes in these boxes here. Okay, yours is the top one, period 1. All right, but like I said, quizzes are going to be the only thing you're going to put in here. Everything else, okay, will be electronic. So we'll save lots of trees. Okay, After all, what did they do to you? It's really not fair to hack them up with a chainsaw. Okay. All right. Questions, guys? Anything you need to know, want to know? Okay, I think I covered it all. Oh, sorry. People often ask, can I listen to my music in class? In certain situations, yes. Okay, if we're doing some seat work, like we're working on a worksheet on naming compounds or something, and you want to isolate yourself, absolutely. Okay, I used to do that when I was in school. Okay, I had to block out everything else by putting music on, and I worked a lot better that way. Some people do. Okay, if you want to do that, that's fine, as long as you're not watching a movie on your phone while you're working, because then you're not working. Okay, but if you're listening to music, I'm okay with that. But as soon as I say listen up or whatever, then I need you to turn it off and listen. Okay, and when I do say listen up, I need both ears free, okay, of the earphones. I find it really disrespectful. I know people don't probably mean to be, but I find it really disrespectful. And one ear's got a phone in it, and they're looking at me, and I know they're not paying attention. Okay, yeah, just make sure both are out. Whether it's on or not, just take them both out. Okay. All right. If there are no other questions, then we'll move on. Okay, we'll hand out these notes here.